Good day, ma'am. In this video, we will present the utility and diminishing marginal utility, cost explicit and implicit, fixed and variable cost, production and profit, and factors of production. The members of this group are Alexa Jane Vicente, Raquel James Pahillon, Mary Rose Pahara, Grazel Cabando, and Christine Shane Chong. Before we move on, let's define microeconomics. Microeconomics is the study of how individuals, households, and businesses make decisions regarding the allocation of limited resources and how these decisions affect specific market. It analyzes factors like supply and demand for individual goods and services, how prices are determined, and how consumers and producers interact.
Utility and diminishing marginal utility. Example, the first slice of pizza makes me happy, but the fourth one doesn't feel good anymore. Utility. Utility refers to the satisfaction or happiness a person gets from consuming a product. When you eat something you like, such as pizza, you gain utility because it makes you feel good. However, as you continue consuming more of the same product, the satisfaction you receive from each additional unit usually decreases. This is called diminishing marginal utility. The more nga sige ka kaon sa pizza o ikaw pat na baka na nimo nga slice, the more nga decrease ang utility sa tao nga consume sa pizza kay nabusog na baka siya or nasumhan na. This shows that the more you consume, the less additional satisfaction you get from each extra slice. In short, utility, satisfaction, and diminishing marginal utility, each extra units gives less satisfaction than the previous one.
Cost. So, ang cost na kuno is mao ni ang nagasto tanan sa usa ka business sa pag-operate nila. So, naay duha ka part ang cost, ang explicit cost and the implicit cost. So, ang explicit cost daw kuno is the actual payments like sa rents, salaries, o kanang mga ingredients. So, ang implicit cost daw kuno is ang owner's time or effort. So, ang kuan daw kuno ani is naay trabaho ang usa ka owner nga dako kay siya income but ipili niya mag-run og business. So naani siya value but wala ni siya cash payment.
Fixed costs. These are the costs that remain the same regardless of the level of production or sales. So for example ani is rent or kanang boarding house. Like for example, ang bayaron sa boarding house is 1,000, then fixed na siya nga mo ang bayaran. Bisan pa og kanang dili nimo siya puy-an, manajud siya ang bayaran na 1,000. So mo na siya ang fixed cost. So let's proceed to variable cost. So what is variable cost? So variable costs are costs that change in direct proportion to the level of production. So example ani is kanang magbuhat kag lemonade. So ang lemon ug ang sugar na imong kailangan is mo na siya ang variable cost. So if gusto ka maghimo og daghan nga lemonade, then you need to buy more lemon or sugar. And if gamay ra pud imong buhaton nga lemonade, then gamay ra pud jud imong palito na lemon or sugar. So the cost of lemon and sugar changes depending on how much lemonade you made. So muna siya ang variable cost.
Production and profit. So the first one is production. Production na kuno is the process sa paggamit og mga resources like land, labors, and capital para mag-make og goods or services. So if mag-add kuno kag more workers is mag-increase da kuno imong output. But later dayon ang production is mag-slow tungod kay crowded ang usa ka production area. So kuan ani ang mahitabo dayon ani is mag-less na dayon ang returns sa usa ka business. So next is profit. So ang profit dakuno is ang unsay na-earn sa usa ka business human nagbayad tanan sa ilang mga cost. So if ang kita nimo is mas dako kaysa gasto, so dako imong profit. But if dako ang imong gasto kaysa kita is nalugi ka.
Factors of production are the basic inputs used to produce goods and services in a company. Upat ka factors, main factors of production. First is land, labor, capital, last is entrepreneurship. First, land. Land, this includes natural resources like water, timber, and minerals that are used in production. For example, a farmer uses land to grow crops. Need magyud og land para magtanom. Supuga sa magtanom, di ba? Sa land pang gyud. Next is labor. The human effort used in production. For example, workers who operate machinery or services. Next is capital. The tools or machinery, buildings, and money used to produce goods and services. Last is entrepreneurship, the creativity, ideas, and risk-taking ability of people who organize the other factors to produce goods. For example, combining the 4 factors of production into a simple business. To produce bread, land provides the wheat growing, labor involves the farmers and bakers, capital includes the tractors and ovens, and entrepreneurship is the baker deciding to start the bakery business. Each factor earns a reward. Land receives rent, labor receives wages, capital receives interest, and entrepreneurship receives profit. Here are the 5 concepts applied in a single sample business, a bakery. Utility and law of diminishing marginal cost. When customers buy bread from the bakery, the first loaf provides high satisfaction or utility. However, as they consume more loaves, each additional loaf provides less added satisfaction due to the law of diminishing marginal utility. Explicit and implicit cost. The bakery pays explicit costs like flour, wages, and rent. Implicit costs include the owner's time and resources investment without direct payment, such as foregone salary working elsewhere. Fixed and variable cost. Rent for the bakery space is a fixed cost, as it remains constant regardless of production. Ingredients and hourly wages for bakers are variable costs that increase with more bread produced. Production and profit relationship. As the bakery increases bread production, profit initially rises, but due to diminishing marginal productivity, output growth slow and cost per unit may rise, affecting profit margins. Factors of production. The bakery uses land, the shop, labor, the bakers, capital such as oven or tools, and entrepreneurship, owner's business management to produce bread. This gives a clear, quick overview of how these economic concepts operate in a real business example, a bakery, covering consumer behavior, cost, production dynamics, and input factors.
My group learned that microeconomics is about how people and business make choices when resources are limited. It explains why prices change, how consumers choose what to buy, and how producers decide what to sell. We learned about supply and demand, utility or the satisfaction we get from something, and etc. Overall, microeconomics helps us understand how many small decisions influence the way goods and services are shared in the world.